Okay, so what if I told you that a book that's 2,500 years old actually has the keys to solving some of our biggest problems today? It sounds kind of wild, right? Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the most influential books ever written, the Analects of Confucius.
I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. 2,500 years. For 2.5 millennia, the ideas in this one book have been shaping minds, guiding leaders, building the very foundations of entire civilizations. The staying power is just absolutely incredible.
And yeah, we're not talking about some small niche impact here. We're talking about billions of people, from China, all across East Asia, and really around the whole world. The teachings in the Analects have touched everything, from how you interact with your family to how governments run.
So, that leads to the big question, right? How? How has this ancient collection of sayings stayed so important, so relevant, for so long? What is its secret? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today.
All right, so the first clue to its power, it's actually in how the book is put together. You might be picturing this super dense, heavy, philosophical book, right? But what you actually get is something way more approachable.
You know, the name Analects pretty much gives it away. It just means selected sayings. And get this, Confucius didn't even write it himself. It was actually put together by his students after he passed away. They basically collected all his greatest hits from all the conversations they had with him.
And this is what's so cool about it. The book reads less like a formal text and more like a highlight reel of his best conversations. It's just packed with these short, super memorable quotes, these little nuggets of wisdom, and they cover everything, from the huge ethical questions down to the tiny details of everyday life. It's so practical.
Okay, so we know how the book is put together. Now let's get to the good stuff, its philosophical heart. What are the big ideas that have made this thing last for centuries?
So right at the center of everything is this one idea, Ren. You could think of it as humaneness or benevolence, but really, it's about a deep, genuine compassion and kindness you show to other people. For Confucius, this was it. This was the absolute core of what it means to be human, just truly caring for others.
Okay, so if Ren is the inner feeling, then Li is how you show it on the outside. Li is all about rituals, proper conduct, manners. And here's the brilliant part. Confucius believed that a good, harmonious society isn't built on big, grand gestures. Nope. It's built on all those small, daily acts of respect.
And where does all this start? Well, according to Confucius, it starts at home, with Xiao, or what we call filial piety. It's that deep respect you have for your parents and ancestors. He saw this as the root, the very foundation of all other virtues. The idea is, if you can learn respect inside your family, that feeling will just naturally spread out into the rest of society.
So you've got Ren, Li, Xiao. They all weave together, but here's the amazing thing. Confucius managed to boil down his entire ethical system into one single, powerful, and incredibly simple sentence.
There it is. Do not impose on others what you do not wish for yourself. It's basically the golden rule, right? We all recognize it instantly. And it just perfectly sums up his whole philosophy. It's simple, it's direct, and it's an absolutely timeless guide for how we should treat each other.
Okay, so practicing all these things, Ren, Li, Xiao, it isn't just a checklist for being a good person. For Confucius, it was way bigger than that. It was a lifelong journey, a quest to become a very specific kind of ideal person.
And that ideal person is called the Junzi, or the exemplary person. And what was so revolutionary about this idea is that being a Junzi had nothing to do with being rich or being born into a fancy family. Nope, it was all about your moral character. It was about being virtuous, humble, and wise, and that meant anyone could strive for it.
And the best part is, Confucius actually laid out a roadmap. It's not about suddenly becoming perfect. It's a process, right? A process of self-cultivation. It means committing to learning for your entire life. It means practicing those rituals of respect, the Li, with real sincerity. And it means constantly, always, looking at your own actions and thinking, how can I be better?
Okay, so I know you might be thinking, this is all really interesting ancient philosophy, but what does it have to do with us right now in our crazy modern world? Well, it turns out it might matter more than ever.
And this is what's just wild. You can take these ancient ideas and apply them directly to our biggest modern challenges. You see all the social and political division out there? The Confucian solution is Ren. Start with basic kindness and compassion. What about leaders who rule by fear and punishment? Confucius would say the answer is moral example. You inspire people, you don't force them. And in a world that's so focused on ego and self-interest, the path of the Junzi reminds us that true wisdom, it starts with humility and a willingness to learn.
And this stuff isn't just abstract theory, right? Just think about where you can apply this. In your job, in your relationships with family and friends, and how we lead our communities. And maybe most importantly, in our own personal lives. It's like a practical blueprint.
So really, when you boil it all down, the Analects is so much more than just an old book. It's a timeless guide. It's a manual for living with dignity, for treating people with respect, and for being a better human.
It's amazing, isn't it? After 2,500 years, these ideas still speak to us. They're still calling on us to be better people and to build better communities. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Which one of these pieces of wisdom really hits home for you? And which one will you carry into your own life?